Hi everyone, this is Lachette from Scarlet Moon Creations, and I am back here with another video. This is for the letter K for the YouTube Pagans ABC challenge. I had skipped this letter because I wasn't sure what to do, and it just came to me, so I decided let me film this while I still have a little bit of light to go. So K is for knowledge. I don't know about anybody else, but as a person looking into their spirituality, knowledge, learning is a big part of that. And honestly, it's supposed to be a big part of witchcraft. Most people who practice witchcraft or magic do have gaining knowledge as one of the basic foundational tenets of their practice. And for me, it's it's multifaceted, actually, is what I want to say. I don't know, for those of us who grew up in the American educational system, you remember those posters? Those posters, knowledge is power. They were everywhere, and while cheesy, with their cheesy, smiling models and the cute graphics, somehow it still always resonated with me despite the cheesiness. Others kind of like roll their eyes, as many of us do from those motivational posters that are posted around our school buildings. But I've definitely always felt that knowledge is power, and it could be the Gemini rising, Scorpio sun, Aquarius moon of that is me. The Scorpio, or the woman who has 8 planets in her Scorpio. Yeah, so it could be that, but I've always just wanted to know more, to learn more. I remember as a kid being thinking about that whole idea of being a professional student. That appealed to me very much so. What? No motorcycles all day, and now there is one. Sorry about that. So yeah, and it still kind of does appeal to me. It's just all those student loans that don't appeal at all. So I gained some knowledge and know better. But and honestly, for me, it's kind of knowledge for knowledge's sake. I like knowing things, and it's not just book knowledge as much as I enjoy that. I like observing and learning about people and just finding out the why of things. And I think that is perfect for being a witch, for practicing witchcraft. And within the last 5 or 10 years, that knowledge has mostly been focused inward in knowing more about myself. And there's a couple of like well-known sayings in various witchcraft circles. So part of the witch's pyramid, which I think at this point no one really is sure where that came from, but there's 4 parts to the witch's pyramid, each of the 4 corners. And the first is to know. You have to be willing to learn, to absorb knowledge, to, take things in, to ask why, to ask questions, to search for answers. That is part of the foundation of witch for those who follow the witch's pyramid. There's also the 13 goals of a witch, which witch is which? The 13 goals of a witch comes from, I believe, Doreen Valiente. No, not Doreen Valiente. But anyway, that's from Wicca, and somewhere, I don't know that Gerald Gardner added that, but someone down the road within Wicca. And the first 3 or 4 of the goals is know thyself, know thy craft, learn, and apply knowledge with wisdom. So that's 4 out of 13, which are about knowledge, gaining it, about learning, expanding your horizons, your knowing, in whatever way that is, I was going to say feels comfortable for you, but that's not, right? Whatever way that resonates with you. So, like I mentioned, the last 10 years has been really focused on me knowing myself, or particularly the last 5 years. Being mindful and aware of my actions and my feelings, the feelings that are behind them, what fuels those actions, and for those that I would like to change, what alternatives are there. That's where, self-care comes in, and that's why self-care has become a huge part of my life, my practice, and my business. And knowing that craft, well, everyone's craft is a little bit different. I've talked about various facets of my own, witchcraft in this case, and it is Wiccan. I am in a coven, and it's Welsh-based, so knowing my coven craft, my coven history, our practices, our rituals, our rites, knowing my coven members, because we are a group, we are a small community, and we are a circle that is meant to work well together, and we can't do that without knowing each other. And that should be the case with any coven, group, circle, grove, whatever you want to call it, even if it's a temporary circle of solitaries. Also for me, knowing my craft outside of the coven specific stuff, there's what I consider a part of my private practice, my personal practice. I like saying private practice because that's usually associated with lawyers and doctors. And I would like to have that sort of lifetime of learning and study and some of the personal prestige that comes with learning something and mastering facets of it. So back to my personal practice, things like green witchcraft, learning continuously about herbs and plants and flowers, and how I can use them in my regular life, how I can improve the lives of my family and friends with them, and how I can improve my business with them, and just my own life, enrichment with growing things with the earth. And let's see, astrology is probably going to be a lifelong learning thing because it's so huge with so many moving parts as I talked about before. And things like incorporating music and dance, which are things I enjoy and on a regular everyday basis, and having them incorporated personally into my practice is something I very much want. And continuing to read books about things like divination with tarot, and oracle cards, and whatever else, suits my fancy, like my crystal ball. And yes, there are a few other bits and pieces of my craft that I still will be learning for a very long time. Its history and its future are important to me. So listening to podcasts, reading books, reading blogs and articles from other witches and other pagans in general, there are things we can learn, not only within the pagan community, but within the world around us, within other people, within other spiritualities that I think can help improve and enhance my craft. So learning will always be an important part of that. Just learning, just absorbing information just to have. It's I don't always need to do something with that information, but I quite often want to at some point. It's more of a thing that you don't know why that point or that a particular piece of information resonates with you at a certain moment, but keeping it close, writing it down, finding some way to remember it or a way to go back to it is helpful for later because it's like a puzzle piece. And then the last part from the 13 Goals of a Witch was apply knowledge with wisdom. So, as we all know, I hope we all know, knowledge and wisdom are not the same thing. They're two different things. And to kind of help me explain that, because I find myself tripping over my words sometimes or not remembering what I want to say or getting the right word out. But it occurred to me recently that I have these books that I'm reading, that I'm getting this knowledge from for a reason, so I can refer to them. So this is The Spiral Dance, the 20th anniversary edition by Starhawk. It's a very beaten up version. It's the only version I have. I read it relatively recently. No, I can't even say that. I read it like 5 years ago. And I was really reading for knowledge with this. I would go over each chapter and write down my thoughts about them. And so yeah, I carried this everywhere, and it's gotten a little beat up, but it's loved. So here in the Creating Sacred Space chapter, Starhawk, in one of the exercises, she gives exercise 32, the pentagram of pearl, which comes from the fairy tradition. If anyone is interested in looking that up, they have a couple of pentagrams, the iron pentagram as well, and it's a meditative tool. And it's in this chapter as an example of creating sacred space, creating a sacred circle by calling to or invoking or evoking, however your particular practice does it, the quarters or the 5 sides, 5 points of a pentagram, sorry. Anyway, the pentagram of pearl, 2 of the points are with knowledge and wisdom. And What Starhawk says here is wisdom and knowledge can best be understood together. Knowledge is learning, the power of the mind to understand and describe the universe. Wisdom is knowing how to apply knowledge and how not to apply it. Knowledge is knowing what to say. Wisdom is knowing whether or not to say it. Knowledge gives answers. Wisdom asks questions. Knowledge can be taught. Wisdom grows out of experience, out of making mistakes. So, yeah, I can't say it any better than that. Wisdom seems to be like an equation. Knowledge plus experience equals wisdom. And, or knowledge, plus the application of knowledge, and through experience of the outcome of the application of knowledge, you gain wisdom. So, yes, that is the difference. That is a goal for me, and I hope for you, whatever your practice is, whatever your spirituality, whatever magic you do, I hope you are trying to gain wisdom, particularly about yourself. So that is my thoughts on knowledge when it comes to witchcraft. What do you guys think? Is there more that I'm not seeing? I think knowledge is a pretty vast topic, and I didn't want to have you sit here forever when it's not necessary. I feel like I would just be repeating the same things, but in a different way. So, thank you for watching my video. You can find my Etsy shop in the description down below, and there's links to the other videos in this series as well. I will see you guys for the next letter. Bye.